People tell the truth when they think old men stopped listening. My daughter leaned toward her husband in the front seat and whispered something she thought I would never hear. I was 68 years old, sitting quietly in the back of their SUV outside a hospital in Knoxville, Tennessee, eyes closed, breathing slow. "Once he signs everything," she said softly, "it'll be easier." Her husband answered, 30 days, maybe less. Stay with me here. 19 days later, both of them would learn something dangerous. I wasn't asleep. Before we get into it, tell me where you're watching from and what time it is in your part of the world. And if stories about family betrayal, hard truths, and quiet strength mean something to you, subscribe and come along with me on this one. My name is Shepard Graham. I'm 68 years old, widowed, retired, and according to my daughter Emily, too stubborn to buy a newer car. She's not completely wrong. I drove a silver 2009 Toyota Avalon with 211,000 miles on it and a tiny crack stretching across the bottom right corner of the windshield that I'd been planning to fix next month for about 3 years. You get older, you start collecting little unfinished promises like that. I lived alone in a quiet neighborhood near Cedar Bluff in Knoxville, Tennessee. Small brick house, white mailbox leaning slightly left because somebody backed into it during Christmas of 2019 and never admitted it. 3 bedrooms I no longer needed. A backyard that used to belong to my wife Margaret more than me. Margaret loved flowers, hydrangeas, blue ones. She planted them along the fence 15 years ago. 5 years after losing her to cancer, they still came back every spring. Life can be cruel. Life can also be strangely loyal. I learned both lessons the hard way. Most mornings I woke up at 6:15 without an alarm because after 42 years, working numbers and deadlines, your brain becomes its own annoying supervisor. Coffee first? Always coffee first. Black, no sugar, no fancy creamers with names that sound like scented candles. I would sit at the kitchen table wearing the same faded gray Tennessee Volunteers sweatshirt Margaret bought me 12 years earlier and stare out the back window while sunlight slowly climbed over the trees. Peace looks ordinary when you live inside it long enough. Tuesday mornings meant grocery shopping. Saturday mornings meant Cracker Barrel, table near the window if available, pancakes, turkey sausage, coffee refills dangerous enough to qualify as medical treatment. The waitress Linda usually walked over smiling. "Morning, Shepard." "Morning." "Same thing." "You know me too well." "You old men are easy." "You say that like it's an insult." Routine becomes comfort. Comfort becomes invisible. You stop noticing the quiet blessings because they arrive on time every day. My daughter Emily used to join me sometimes. Not lately, but she used to. Emily Graham Carter, 42, smart, strong. Funny when she forgot to protect herself with sarcasm. When she was little, she'd fall asleep in the back seat after softball practice with dirt on her knees and juice stains on her shirt. I'd carry her inside. Margaret would whisper, "Don't wake her," as if I needed instructions. Some memories don't fade. They wait. Emily grew up good. That's important for you to understand. Stay with me here. People don't become strangers overnight. It happens slowly, quietly. Payments due, stress building, marriage pressure, mortgage pressure, life pressure. Pressure changes people. Sometimes temporarily, sometimes forever. Emily worked as an office administrator for a dental practice in Knoxville. Steady job, steady paycheck. Her husband, Brandon Carter, ran a home renovation company. Or tried to. Brandon was 45 and built like a man who still believed he could play college football if society would just give him another chance. Tall, confident, good smile, firm handshake. Too firm sometimes. You know that type. The kind of man who keeps reminding everyone how busy he is. The kind who says things like, "I'm a grinder. I'm building something." Sleep is for people without ambition. Brandon wasn't evil. I need you to understand something. Bad people make life simple. Real life usually isn't simple. Brandon wanted success. Badly. Too badly. There is a difference. When Emily first brought him home 11 years earlier, I liked him. Margaret liked him too. He opened doors, said yes, ma'am, talked respectfully, worked hard, had plans, dreams, energy. Margaret pulled me aside after meeting him. He loves her, she said. You sure? I'm her mother. That's not evidence. You're impossible. I'm careful. No, Margaret smiled. You're scared. Maybe I was. Fathers carry strange fears. Nobody warns you. One day your child needs help tying shoes. Then suddenly somebody else becomes the person they call first. You survive it, mostly. After Margaret passed away, Emily checked on me constantly. Too constantly. Dad, eat real food. Dad, stop climbing ladders. Dad, please replace that smoke detector. Dad, why do you still own DVDs? They still work. You have streaming. I don't trust streaming. You sound 90. Good. Those conversations mattered more than I realized. Because later when things changed, I kept replaying old versions of her in my head, trying to find where I lost my daughter, or where she lost herself. My closest friend Walt Mercer told me once, people don't disappear shepherd. What happens then? They get buried under problems. Walter Mercer, 70 years old, retired Knox County Sheriff's Deputy, white beard, bad knees, terrible golf swing. Best friend I've had since Ronald Reagan was president. Walt and I met 36 years ago during a financial fraud investigation. I was still working forensic accounting. He was law enforcement. We spent 8 months untangling enough fake numbers to wallpaper a courthouse, stayed friends after. Retirement changed nothing. Every Thursday we'd meet at a small burger place near Kingston Pike called Stock and Barrel. One afternoon, about 2 months before everything happened, Walt sat across from me eating fries like somebody trying to settle a personal argument with cholesterol. You still driving that Avalon? He asked. Yep. Thing belongs in a museum. Runs fine. So does my lawnmower. Don't disrespect Toyota engineering. You old people get emotionally attached to appliances. We're loyal. No, Walt said. Cheap. I laughed. Hard enough people stared. Walt leaned back. Emily doing okay? Far as I know. Brandon, busy. Busy successful or busy hiding something? You're retired, I said. You can stop investigating people. No. You miss it. Absolutely. I smiled. He wasn't wrong. Forensic accounting sounds boring until you understand what it really means. People lie. Money tells the truth. My entire career worked that way. Follow numbers, follow patterns, find cracks. Human beings leave fingerprints everywhere, especially when they're desperate, especially when they're greedy. I just didn't know then how close desperation had gotten to my own front door. About 3 weeks later, my phone rang at 8:17 on a Tuesday evening. Emily. Hey, Dad. Everything okay? Yeah. Pause. Too long? You learn timing when you've raised children. Dad. Yeah. I think maybe we should get you checked out. Checked out. Nothing serious. I'm still alive. Dad. I'm kidding. No, you're not. Little bit. You've seemed tired lately. I'm 68. You forgot your pharmacy pickup. One time. You missed dinner Sunday. I told you. You didn't answer. I was asleep. Another pause. You should let Brandon and me take you to Fort Sanders next week. You think something's wrong? No. Too fast. No, she repeated slower. I just want to make sure everything's okay. Funny thing about instincts. Sometimes they whisper, sometimes they grab your shoulder. Mine whispered. Quiet, small, easy to ignore. I ignored it. That turned out to be a mistake. Because 8 days later, sitting in the back seat of my daughter's SUV outside Fort Sanders Regional Medical Center, eyes closed and breathing slow, I heard something I was never supposed to hear. Fort Sanders. Regional Medical Center always smelled like disinfectant and bad coffee. I don't mean that as criticism. Hospitals aren't built to feel comfortable. They're built to keep people alive. Emily sat beside me in the waiting room that Tuesday morning, while Brandon went to move the SUV closer to the entrance. "Blood pressure looks good," the doctor said. "Heart sounds strong. Labs are normal." "So I'm immortal?" I asked. The doctor smiled politely. Emily didn't. "Dad? What? You've been tired." "I'm 68. You keep saying that like it's a medical explanation. It covers a lot." The doctor looked down at his tablet. "Mr. Graham, honestly, things look pretty good." Emily leaned forward. "What about memory testing?" I turned slowly toward her. "Memory testing. Just routine. I remembered to wear pants today." "Dad?" "I'm joking." "Mostly." The doctor asked questions, dates, words, simple recall exercises. "What year is it? What city are we in?" "Remember 3 objects: apple, chair, penny." I answered everything. Perfect. Not because I was special, because I was fine. Maybe slower than 20 years ago, maybe more tired, maybe needing reading glasses stronger than my pride wanted to admit. But fine. The drive home started around 2:35 that afternoon. Gray clouds, cold Tennessee air, the kind that sneaks under your sleeves. Emily drove. Brandon sat passenger side. I climbed into the back seat of their dark blue Honda Pilot. My knees complained. My lower back filed an official protest. Getting older is mostly your body becoming increasingly dramatic. "You okay back there?" Emily asked. "Fine." "You need water?" "No." "Want me to turn the heat up?" "I'm not 85. You don't have to act tough." "I'm not acting." Brandon adjusted something on the dashboard. Country music played quietly. Traffic moved slow near Cumberland Avenue. I leaned my head back, closed my eyes. Not asleep, just tired. You know that space. That middle place. Not fully awake. Not fully resting. Thoughts drifting. Body heavy. Mind floating. I remember hearing Brandon signal before turning. Click, click, click. Tiny sounds become louder when your eyes are closed. The heater humming. Emily breathing. A truck engine somewhere beside us. My jacket zipper lightly tapping against the seatbelt. Little things. Ordinary things. Then silence. Not normal silence. Careful silence. People preparing to say something. I didn't open my eyes. Instinct. Years doing forensic accounting taught me something strange. People reveal themselves when they stop performing. Emily spoke first. Quiet. Almost whispering. "You think he'll do it?" Brandon answered immediately. "Yeah?" "He trusts you." Something cold moved through my chest. Not fear, recognition. The kind you feel when a puzzle piece suddenly lands where it belongs. Emily lowered her voice further. "I still don't feel right." "Em." He looked confused in there. "He's getting older." "Brandon. He forgot the pharmacy pickup. One time. He missed dinner. One time. He needs help." I stayed still. Completely still. Brandon sighed. "You know what's going to happen if we don't handle this now." Silence. Then Emily quietly, "I know." Brandon again. "Once he signs everything, it'll be easier." My heartbeat changed. Not faster, sharper. Like my body suddenly standing up without moving. Emily didn't answer immediately. I heard tires roll over rough pavement, a turn signal, someone honking somewhere behind us. Then, "We're not putting him somewhere bad," Emily whispered. "Nobody said that. He loves that house. We can't keep doing this. He'll hate me. He'll adjust." Adjust. Funny word. People use soft words for hard things. Adjust, transition, simplify, manage. Words designed to hide sharp edges. Stay with me here. I need you to understand something. I still hadn't opened my eyes. Not because I was scared, because I needed truth without editing. Brandon kept talking. "Big mistake. People talk too much when they think they've already won. We get power of attorney handled first. Emily quiet. Then what? She asked. Then we list the house. My fingers tightened against my coat. Just enough. Not enough to notice. We aren't selling it immediately, Emily said. We should. Brandon. What? Not yet. We can't keep bleeding money. Silence. Long silence. Then Emily said something I still remember word for word. Word for word. I just don't want him figuring it out. The world got strangely quiet. Not outside, inside me. You spend your entire life building things. Career, marriage, trust, family. You believe certain foundations can't crack. Then, one afternoon, sitting behind your own daughter, you hear a sentence that changes the shape of your memories. Brandon spoke lower now. He won't. You don't know that. He barely checks his accounts. Wrong. He barely understands online banking. Very wrong. We keep things simple. Simple. Interesting choice. I almost smiled. Almost? Because Brandon Carter didn't know something. Nobody outside my old profession usually did. For 42 years, I followed financial fraud, insurance manipulation, business theft, hidden accounts, asset concealment, divorce money games, estate scams, bad people, good people doing bad things. People always thought deception required intelligence. It usually required confidence, overconfidence. Brandon kept talking, digging, building his own problems one sentence at a time. The house alone solves most of it. Emily quieter now. I hate this. I know. No, you don't. I do. No? Then silence. Real silence. Heavy, painful, human. For the first time since it started, I heard my daughter crying. Not loud, small, controlled, trying not to. My chest tightened. Because anger is easier than sadness. Way easier. And suddenly I wasn't hearing manipulation. I was hearing pressure, fear, money problems, desperation, things I understood professionally, things I understood personally. But understanding something doesn't make betrayal hurt less. Brandon spoke softer. We're helping him. No? You don't decide helping somebody by removing their choices. Emily whispered, what if he finds out? He won't. Wrong again. We stopped at a red light. The SUV idled. I kept my eyes closed, breathing slow, steady. Brandon changed the radio station. Country music disappeared. Commercials. Mattress sale. Truck financing. Ordinary life continuing while mine quietly tilted sideways. I remembered something Walt once told me. People don't suddenly become different. They become desperate enough to show parts they were hiding. Maybe Emily wasn't cruel. Maybe Brandon wasn't evil. Maybe they were drowning. Maybe. But drowning people can still pull others under. The light turned green. We moved. 3 minutes later, Brandon spoke again. 30 days. Emily didn't answer. Maybe less. I heard it. Every word. The sentence from the hook. The one that would replay in my head hundreds of times. 30 days, maybe less. I finally understood. The appointments, the concern, the sudden interest in my finances, the extra questions, the careful kindness, patterns, tiny patterns. Human beings always leave patterns. My old instincts weren't whispering anymore. They were awake, fully awake. We pulled into my driveway 7 minutes later. Engine off. Silence. Emily turned around. You okay, Dad? I opened my eyes slowly, looked directly at her. My daughter. My little girl. 42 years old, exhausted, worried, hiding something. Fine, I said. You sleep? Little bit. Brandon smiled. Dangerous thing. Confidence. Good appointment today, he said. Yeah. You doing all right? I looked at him, really looked, then nodded. Doing just fine. Because sometimes the most dangerous thing an old man can do is stay quiet. I didn't sleep much that night. Not because I was angry. Anger comes with heat. This felt colder, quieter. Like walking into your kitchen at 2 a.m. and realizing something familiar had moved half an inch to the left. Wrong. Not dramatic, wrong. At 2:13 a.m., I gave up pretending sleep was coming. I walked into the kitchen wearing old gray sweatpants and Margaret's University of Tennessee sweatshirt I'd stolen from her closet sometime around 2008. Marriage is mostly borrowing things permanently. Coffee, black, no sugar. The microwave clock blinked 2:15. I'd never fixed that either. Margaret used to hate blinking clocks. Shepard, she'd say, either set it or unplug it. Why? Because chaos spreads. I smiled despite myself. Funny how grief changes over time. Early grief feels like drowning. Later grief feels like weather. Always there. Some days heavier, some days lighter. I sat at the kitchen table. Quiet house. Refrigerator humming. Tree branches tapping softly outside. And I replayed the conversation, every word, every pause. Once he signs everything. Power of attorney. Sell the house. 30 days. Maybe less. I pulled a yellow legal pad from the kitchen drawer. Old habit. 42 years following money trains your brain differently. Emotion later. Facts first. I wrote, "What do I know?" Emily worried about money. Brandon mentioned bleeding money. House solves most of it. Power of attorney. Urgency. 30 days. What don't I know? Debt amount, timeline, documents. Who started this? Emily Brandon. Both you learned something working financial investigations. People hide details. Patterns don't. At 7:04 the next morning, I called Walt. He answered immediately. Somebody dead. Good morning to you too. It's 7. You're retired? Retired doesn't mean unconscious. I need breakfast. That sounds serious. Cracker Barrel. 1 hour. You're buying? No. Then 90 minutes. We met at the Cracker Barrel off Merchants Drive. Cold morning, clouds low. Parking lot half full. Walt walked in wearing jeans boots and a Knox County Sheriff's cap he technically wasn't supposed to still own. Morning, he said. You look terrible. Good to see you too. You sick? No. You dating? Worse. That got his attention. 10 minutes later, he sat across from me, staring quietly while I told him everything. Hospital, car ride, conversation, every word I remembered. Walt didn't interrupt, didn't joke, didn't even touch his pancakes, which scared me more than the story. Finally, he leaned back. How sure are you? 100%. Could you have misunderstood? No. Could Brandon be pushing it? Maybe. Emily, I don't know. That scares you. Yeah. He folded his hands. You checking accounts? Already planning it? You think money trouble? I know money trouble. No. I heard enough. Walt stared toward the window. You gonna confront them? No? Good. That wasn't fast. Because emotional people make mistakes. Meaning you're emotional. I'm not emotional. Shepard. What? You wore 2 different socks. I looked down. One black, one dark blue. Damn. Exactly. We sat quietly. Waitress refilled coffee. Walt finally said, walk me through Brandon. Home renovation business. Good business. Used to be? Used to? Pandemic hurt him. Everybody got hurt. Not everybody borrowed badly. That got my own attention. Borrowed badly. Why had I thought that? Instinct. Professional instinct. Patterns. Little things. 3 months earlier, Brandon casually mentioned interest rates. Twice. 2 months earlier, Emily suddenly asked if I'd ever considered downsizing. 1 month earlier, Brandon offered to help organize paperwork. Too many small things. Aligned. You know that feeling? When puzzle pieces stop looking random, I hated that feeling. Because usually it meant I was right, and being right wasn't going to feel good this time. At 11:12 a.m., I logged into my region's bank account. Everything looked normal. Checking, savings, investment accounts, Margaret's old life insurance reserve. Nothing moved. Nothing unusual. Good. Or maybe not good. Smart people don't steal immediately. Smart people prepare. I checked property records, insurance, estate documents, beneficiary information, power of attorney status. Nothing. No changes, no filings, no paperwork. Yet. Which somehow worried me more. At 1:47 p.m., Emily called. "Hey, Dad." "Hey, kid." "Kid. 42 years old. Still kid? You doing okay? Fine? You tired? No? You sure? Emily. What? What's wrong?" Silence. Small silence. Dangerous silence. "Nothing. You're calling during work. Checking on you. You checked yesterday." "Can't I call my father?" "Of course." Pause. "You busy today?" "No." "Doing what?" "Interesting. Very interesting." "Why?" "Just asking." "You need something?" "No." "You sure?" "Yeah." Pause again. "Love you, Dad?" "Love you too." She hung up. I sat there staring at my phone. Questions matter. Good investigators learn that. But timing matters too. Questions reveal. Timing exposes. At 3:22 that afternoon, instinct pushed me somewhere I hadn't expected. Brandon's business. Carter Premier Renovations. Small company. 6 employees. Good reviews. Mostly. I opened public filings. Business records. Licenses. Permits. Normal. 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 Then, not normal. Lien filing, 8 months old. Construction supplier dispute. $22,000. Interesting. Very interesting. I kept digging. Old habit, county civil records. Knox County, Blount County, Hamilton County. Nothing major. Then, business financing, public UCC filing, equipment loan. Large, current, pressure. Pressure creates behavior. You don't need missing money. You need pressure. At 5:40 p.m., Walt called. "Found something." "What?" "Mutual friend." "Who?" "Dennis Harper." "Dennis? Works commercial banking now." "So?" "Ran into him golfing." "You don't golf." "I supervise golf." "Walt. Brandon refinanced business debt 6 months ago." My stomach tightened. "How much?" "Enough." "Enough meaning?" "More than comfortable." Silence. "You there?" Walt asked. "Yeah." "You thinking same thing I am?" "Yeah." "Still not confronting?" "No." "Good." "I'm not saying good because I enjoy spy games." "We're not spying." "Feels like spying." "We're old." "Exactly." I laughed. Needed it, badly. That night I opened my home office. Small room, back corner of the house. Margaret called it my cave. Desk, computer, filing cabinet, old framed photos. 42 years of professional instincts sitting quietly waiting. I'd retired 6 years earlier. But retirement doesn't remove wiring. Patterns, pressure, debt, urgency. House solves most of it. Power of attorney, 30 days. Maybe less. No. This wasn't random. This was planning. Not complete planning, but planning. And Brandon Carter had made one mistake, a big one. He assumed age made people slower. Age doesn't make experienced people slower. It makes them quieter, more patient, more dangerous. At 9:17 p.m., sitting alone in my office, I opened my email. Mostly junk, coupons, hardware store sale, insurance newsletter. Then something caught my eye. Sender Brandon Carter. Subject line draft numbers. I stared, heart beating harder. Slowly, carefully. I clicked. And suddenly, everything changed. For a full 5 seconds, I didn't click the email. Not because I was afraid, because experience teaches you something. The moment before truth arrives is sometimes calmer than the moment after. Subject line draft numbers, sender Brandon Carter. Time sent 8:52 p.m. 9 minutes earlier. My first thought wasn't he sent this to me by accident. My first thought was, no way Brandon Carter is this careless. Then I opened it. One attachment, PDF, title property projection draft.pdf. I leaned closer, reading glasses on, coffee cooling beside me. The office suddenly felt smaller. Page 1. Estimated property valuation, my property, my house, my address. Cedar Bluff, Knoxville, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Market estimate $438,000. My pulse slowed. Not faster, slower. Professional mode. Old wiring. Page 2. Projected sale costs. Closing estimates. Commission percentages. Expected remaining proceeds. Then I saw it. A note. Not part of the official template. Added manually. Small font. Easy to miss. Not for someone like me. Move timing dependent on Shepherd paperwork completion. Move timing, not downsizing, not discussion, not options. Planning, concrete planning. I kept reading. Projected debt reduction allocations. One number highlighted. $86,400. Then another. $42,200. No labels, no explanations. Just numbers. Big enough to matter. Small enough to hide. I sat back slowly. 42 years doing forensic accounting teaches pattern recognition. Money leaves fingerprints. Those numbers weren't random. Debt coverage, cash flow relief, financial pressure management. I clicked back. Email body. Short, simple, too simple. Need updates before Thursday. Current draft attached. No greeting, no signature, no explanation. Which told me two things immediately. 1. This wasn't meant for me. 2. This wasn't the first conversation. My eyes moved upward. Recipient. Not me. Almost me. My old email. An email address I hadn't actively used in years. Shepard.Graham62, forwarded automatically into my current inbox. Brandon must have pulled it from old records, old paperwork, old contacts, and Brandon Carter had just made the kind of mistake greedy people make. Confidence mistake. Small mistake. Potentially life-changing mistake. I called Walt. He answered immediately. You found something. How'd you know? You only call this late when something exploded. Get over here. Now. Now. 38 minutes later, Walt walked into my kitchen holding 2 gas station coffees and looking annoyed about being awake. You better have evidence. I do. You look scary. I feel scary. Good. We sat at the kitchen table. I showed him everything. He read slowly, once, twice, third time, then leaned back. Damn. Yeah? Damn. Helpful. I'm processing. You done processing? No. Silence. Finally, you think Emily knows? I don't know. You think Brandon built this? Mostly. You think she's involved? I don't know. You keep saying that. Because I don't. Walt folded his arms. What numbers mean anything? $86,400 matters. Why? Feels like debt. You guessing? No. Pattern recognition? Yeah? $42, 200 inches, possibly secondary obligation. Loan, supplier debt, credit line. Personal liability? Something. Walt stared. I hate when accountant people become weird detective robots. We're not robots. You absolutely are. I almost smiled. Almost. Look here, I said. I pointed toward timing estimates. Projected movement, projected sale, projected completion. Walt squinted. Wait. What? Thursday. Yeah. They need something Thursday. Looks that way. Paperwork. Probably. Power of attorney. Maybe. We sat quietly. Kitchen clock ticking, coffee cooling, life-changing, one ordinary Tuesday night. You know what strange people think betrayal arrives dramatically? Movie scene. Shouting. Slamming doors. No. Real betrayal arrives wearing ordinary clothes. Quiet voice. Spreadsheet attachment. Wrong email address. Walt rubbed his jaw. What now? Nothing. What? Nothing. Shepard. No confrontation. You're serious. Very. You planning something? No. You're lying. Little bit. Thought so. I stood. Walked toward my office. Opened filing cabinet drawer. Pulled old yellow folders, estate documents, insurance information, financial records. Walt watched. Oh no. What? You're doing forensic accountant face. I don't have a face. You absolutely do. No. Yes. No. You get quieter. I am quiet. You become scary quiet. That's ridiculous. Shepard. What? You color code things. I like organization. You terrify normal people. I ignored him, mostly because he wasn't wrong. Midnight came fast. I built timelines, hospital appointment, conversation, financial filings, debt pressure, email, house projection, projected timing, Thursday. Everything pointed toward urgency, pressure, need. Need creates mistakes. Need speeds people up. Speed creates sloppiness. Professional rule. Always worked. At 12:41 a.m., Walt stretched. I'm old. You've been old. Rude. You staying? Yeah, no. Good. You're not sleeping? No. You okay? No. Fair? He walked towards the door. Stopped, turned. Shepard. What? Be careful. I'm not planning revenge. Didn't say revenge. I'm serious. I know. Emily's still my daughter. I know. That's what makes this hard. Walt nodded slowly. Yeah? Then he left. I sat alone. Office light on. House quiet. Margaret's picture beside the monitor. Same picture always. Beach vacation. North Carolina. 20 years ago. She smiled at cameras. I never did. Well, I said quietly. You picked a bad week to not be here. Silence him. Grief does strange things. Sometimes you still talk. Not because you think they'll answer, because part of you remembers when they did. At 7:18 the next morning, my phone buzzed. Emily. Morning, Dad? Morning. You sound tired? Didn't sleep much. You okay? Fine. Want me to come by tonight? Interesting. Why? Just checking? Busy day. Little bit. Brandon busy. Pause. Small pause. Yeah. Work. Mostly. Interesting word. I'll survive, I said. Dad. What? Love you. Love you. Hard words sometimes. Love you too. She hung up. I stared at my phone. Professional instinct again. Timing. Pressure. Checking. Monitoring. Something coming. Something important. Thursday. Always Thursday. Around noon, I drove toward Walt's place. Halfway there, my phone buzzed again. Text message. Brandon. First text he'd sent me directly in nearly 2 months. Hey, Shepard. Emily and I thinking maybe dinner Thursday after work. Family night. I stared. Traffic moving slowly near Kingston Pike. Heart steady. Mind working. Family night. Thursday. Interesting. Very interesting. Then my email notification buzzed. New message. Sender Carter Premier Renovations. Subject updated numbers attached. I pulled into an empty parking lot. Turned engine off. Looked down. Slowly. Carefully. And realized Brandon Carter had just made a second mistake. One even bigger than the first. The second mistake wasn't bigger because it gave me more information. It was bigger because it told me Brandon Carter had become comfortable. Comfort creates carelessness. Carelessness creates truth. I sat inside my Avalon in an empty parking lot near Cedar Bluff, engine idling softly, heater running low. Rain tapped against the windshield. Not heavy. Tennessee drizzle. The kind that makes everything look tired. I opened the email. Subject line, updated numbers attached, same sender. Carter Premier Renovations. Same attachment style, different file. I downloaded it. Opened slowly. Professional habit. Never rush information. Information tells you more when you let it breathe. Page 1, updated projections. My property again, my house, my address, my life. Different numbers this time. Adjusted sale estimate. Adjusted debt allocation, more notes. Then I found it. One sentence. Short, cold, clear. Need Shepherd paperwork completed before refinance deadline. I read it twice, then 3 times. Refinance deadline. Not want, need, pressure, urgency. Money problems were no longer theory. Money problems were oxygen. Brandon needed something fixed, fast. I kept scrolling. Then something else. A file attachment inside the attachment. People rushing make mistakes. People desperate make bigger mistakes. PDF export history. Metadata. Timestamps. Older file names. Version history. And there it was. Original document title. Transition plan, draft transition. Funny word again. Transition, manage, simplify, move timing. People hide ugly things inside clean language. My phone buzzed. Walt. I answered immediately. You alive? He asked. Depends. Found something? So did I. You first. No, you. Dennis called. Dennis Harper. Yeah. What now? Brandon refinanced equipment loans twice. Twice. Last 18 months. Amount. Big. Behind? Maybe. Maybe. Dennis doesn't violate privacy rules. But he told me Brandon looked stressed. That's not evidence. No. But you think it matters? Yeah. I looked through the windshield, rain getting heavier, traffic moving slowly, people living ordinary lives, buying groceries, going home, planning dinner. No idea a retired forensic accountant was sitting in a parking lot, slowly realizing his family had built a plan around him. You there? Walt asked. Yeah. What you thinking? Pressure. Money. Money. You still not confronting No. You need help. Not yet. Need burgers. Maybe. Burgers solve 70% of problems. Made up statistic. Still accurate? I laughed. Needed it. Again. By 4:30 that afternoon I was back home. Office door closed, yellow legal pad open. Timeline growing. Hospital, conversation, email, debt pressure, property projections, refinancing. Thursday. Always Thursday. My phone buzzed. Emily. Hey, Dad? Hey, kid. You busy? Little. You sound tired. Long day. You eating enough? Emily. What? Just ask. Silence. Tiny silence. Dangerous silence. Dad? Yeah. You trust me, right? There it was. Not paperwork, not money. Trust. Funny thing about trust. People rarely ask for it unless they're worried about losing it. Of course, I said. You know Brandon and I just want what's best. My chest tightened. Not anger, pain, different thing, worse thing. I know, I said quietly. You know we'd never hurt you. No, I thought. You'd just convince yourselves this wasn't hurting me. Big difference. You doing anything Thursday? She asked. There it is. What? Thursday. What about Thursday? You tell me. Family dinner. Right. Brandon wants steaks. He suddenly likes spending money. Silence. Tiny, sharp. Dad? What? You doing okay? Doing fine. You sure? Emily. Yeah. I love you. Long silence. Then quietly, I love you too. She hung up. I stared at my phone. Something Walt told me years ago drifted back. People lying usually prepare answers. Truth handles surprises better. Emily sounded prepared. Too prepared. Not cruel, not cold, prepared. Different thing. Harder thing. At 6:15, I drove toward Walt's house. Small place near Powell, white siding, American flag. Garage full of things he promised to organize after retirement. Retirement had happened 8 years earlier. Garage remained undefeated. He opened the front door holding 2 bottled root beers. "You look terrible," he said. "You're consistent." "I try." We sat in lawn chairs under his covered back patio. Rain easing, cold air, quiet neighborhood. "You gonna tell Rebecca?" Walt asked. Rebecca Holloway, 61, attorney, sharp enough to scare judges, old professional contact, friend, occasional golf cheater. "No," I said. "Not yet." "You should." "Not yet." "You're stalling." "No." "Shepard." "What?" "You know what worries me." "Everything." "You still think you can fix Emily?" That landed harder than I wanted. "She's my daughter." "I know. People struggle." "I know. People panic." "I know. People make mistakes." "I know." Walt leaned back. "Some mistakes come from fear." "Yeah. Some come from character." Cold air moved through the patio. Neither of us spoke. "Finally, you think Brandon's driving this?" Walt asked. "Mostly." "Emily?" "I don't know." "You hate saying that." "Yeah." "You still protecting her?" "Maybe." "Even now?" "She's my kid." "You know what Margaret would say." I smiled quietly. "Yeah, I do." Margaret would have told me not to confuse love with blindness. She used to say that, a lot, especially when Emily was younger. "Dad, she failed one math test." "She needs consequences." "She needs support." "She needs consequences." Both. Margaret always believed life required both. Support, consequences. Love, accountability. Together, not separate. Around 8:40 that night, I got home, opened my office, sat quietly, looked at Margaret's picture again. Beach, North Carolina, 20 years ago. Smile, wind moving her hair. "Well," I said softly, "our kid made a mess." Silence, old grief, old habit. Then something small caught my attention. Email history, original message chain, hidden forwarding trail. My eyes narrowed. Professional instinct. Quiet. Sharp. Version history. Forward chain. Sender routing. One older attachment. Earlier draft. Date stamp. 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks. Before the hospital. Before memory concerns. Before doctor appointments. Before concern. My stomach dropped. Slow, heavy. No. No, no, no. Not because they planned something. Because of when they planned it. 3 weeks. Before. Before everything. Which meant one thing. Hospital wasn't concern. Hospital was process. I sat completely still. Reading. Rereading. Timestamp, draft history, timeline. 3 weeks. My daughter, my son-in-law, 3 weeks. Stay with me here. That wasn't pressure talking anymore. Pressure explained urgency. Pressure didn't explain planning. Not planning this early. Not planning this carefully. Not planning around paperwork. My phone buzzed. Text, Brandon. Thursday, 6 p.m., work for dinner. I stared. Long time. Then typed. Looking forward to it. Sent, read receipt, immediate. Then another message arrived. Good, we got something important to discuss. I stared at that sentence. Longer, much longer. Then quietly, for the first time since this started, I called Rebecca Holloway. Rebecca Holloway answered on the 3rd ring. Please tell me you're not calling to ask estate questions at 9:30 at night. I have estate questions. Of course you do. You busy tomorrow? Depends. On whether this is real legal work or one of your strange retirement hobbies? This one's real. Silence. Rebecca knew my voice, knew timing, knew patterns. We'd worked together nearly 20 years. back when I handled forensic accounting reviews and she handled complicated estate litigation. She once told me something I never forgot. People don't fight hardest over money. They fight hardest over what money represents: control, fear, security, validation, power, sometimes love. "I can do 11 tomorrow," she said. "My office. I'll be there. Bring documents." "I have documents." "Of course you do." "And Rebecca." "Yeah." "I need discretion." Long pause. "Shepard." "Yeah." "How bad?" I looked toward Margaret's picture sitting quietly beside my computer monitor. "Bad enough." The next morning, Knoxville looked cold and gray, clouds hanging low, November creeping in. I wore jeans, brown jacket, blue flannel. The same blue flannel Margaret used to complain made me look like a man who gave up trying. I didn't give up trying, I'd tell her. You absolutely did. Rebecca's office sat in a brick building near downtown Knoxville. 3rd floor, corner office, clean desk, sharp edges. Exactly like Rebecca. She was 61. Silver streak in dark hair. Reading glasses hanging around her neck. Expression permanently positioned somewhere between concern and disappointment. Mostly disappointment. She pointed toward a chair. "Talk." So I did. Hospital, car ride, conversation, emails, debt pressure, property projections, timeline, everything. No interruptions, no reactions. Rebecca listened exactly the way experienced professionals do. Quiet, still, dangerous. When I finished, she folded her hands. "Question?" "Okay." "You trust Emily, straight to the center, classic Rebecca." "I did." "Present tense." Silence. "I don't know." "Question 2?" "Okay." "You trust Brandon, No." That answer came quickly. "Yeah." Rebecca stood, walked toward the window. Knoxville traffic moving below. People carrying coffee, walking dogs, living lives. "You think Emily knows the full picture?" Rebecca asked. "I don't know." "You hate not knowing." "Yeah?" "You always did." She turned back toward me. "You know what concerns me?" "Planning." "Correct." 3 weeks before hospital. "Correct." "Paperwork timing." "Correct." "Pressure." "Correct." She sat again. "You know what doesn't fit?" "What?" "Emily." I looked up. "What?" "She doesn't fit. People change." "They do. Pressure changes people." "Yes." "Money changes people." "Sometimes." "But," Rebecca leaned forward, "but manipulation changes people too." That hit harder than I expected. Manipulation, control, influence, marriage pressure, financial pressure, love pressure, real life gets messy. Real life rarely gives villain speeches explaining themselves. Sometimes people slide, little by little. Wrong decisions stacked slowly enough they stop feeling wrong. Rebecca pulled a yellow legal pad closer. "Question." "Okay." "If Brandon needed money quickly?" "Yeah." "And Emily believed she was helping?" "Yeah." "What happens?" I didn't answer. Because I knew, too well, professional experience, years of it. Good people justify bad decisions faster than bad people do. Bad people expect guilt. Good people negotiate with it. Rebecca watched me quietly. "You're thinking?" "Yeah." "Don't overthink." "Easy for you?" "No." "Not easy." "Necessary." She opened one attachment, read quietly, then another. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Finally, he made a mistake. "Brandon." "Several." "Which one matters?" "Arrogance." Professional answer, correct answer. People underestimate older people constantly. Technology, money, competence, awareness, experience. Arrogance blinds intelligent people faster than stupidity does. Rebecca pointed toward one line. Move timing dependent on Shepard paperwork completion. "See this?" "Yeah." "Not professional language." "No." "Personal language." "Meaning?" "Meaning somebody stopped thinking strategically." "Pressure." "Pressure." She nodded. "Pressure creates leaks." Professional truth always had, always would. What should I do? I asked. Rebecca looked directly at me. You want lawyer advice? Yeah. Protect assets. Done. Update estate documentation. Okay. Lock down authority access. Okay. Monitor communication. Okay. Do not confront. I'm not. Good. And shepherd. What? Do not confuse love with denial. Margaret said that too. Funny, how people who care about you eventually start sounding alike. By noon, I left Rebecca's office carrying updated paperwork instructions and heavier thoughts than I'd arrived with. I stopped at a gas station outside Cedar Bluff. Bought coffee. Terrible coffee. Regretted it immediately. Growing older means knowingly making bad decisions because changing habits feels exhausting. My phone buzzed. Emily. Hey, Dad. Hey. What you doing? Running errands? You sound weird. I sound 68. Dad. What? Everything okay? Sure? Pause. Brandon said dinner tomorrow still works. Good. 6. Okay? We got something important to discuss. There it was again. Important. Discussion. Careful wording. Prepared wording. Dad. Yeah. You there? Still here. Silence. Then quietly. You know I love you. Something cracked. Not dramatically, quietly. Dangerous thing about love. It survives places logic can't. I know, I said. You sure? No. Silence. Then, Dad. Yeah. I'm trying. Trying. Interesting word. Not succeeding, not fixing, trying. After we hung up, I sat inside my Avalon another 5 minutes. Thinking. Thinking about Emily at 8 years old. Red raincoat, missing front tooth. Running toward me after school carrying a spelling test. 100%. Proud smile. Dad, look. I see it. No mistakes. I noticed. You proud? Always. Always. Hard word. Heavy word. Stay with me here. People think betrayal destroys love. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it collides with it, makes it harder, messier, more painful. That night I opened an old storage box in my bedroom closet. Margaret's things, cards, photos, letters, memory pieces, life pieces. Near the bottom sat an old framed picture. Emily, age 8. Margaret beside her. State Fair. Cotton candy. Sunlight. Joy. Simple. Real. I sat quietly holding it. Longer than I realized. You know what hurt most? Not money. Not manipulation, not planning. Possibility. Possibility that somewhere inside all this pressure, my daughter convinced herself she was doing something kind. And that possibility hurt worse than greed ever could. At 8:14 p.m., my phone buzzed. Text. Brandon. Dinner tomorrow changed. Small paperwork thing first. Rebecca Holloway building. 5 p.m. My blood went cold. Rebecca Holloway. My Rebecca Holloway. No, not Rebecca. Different office building. Different attorney. Different plan, paperwork. Tomorrow. 5 p.m. I stared at the screen, read it again, then again. Professional instinct awake. Sharp, focused, quiet. Finally, the move was coming. I slept exactly 3 hours that night. Not because I was afraid. Because my brain had stopped pretending this was confusion. Confusion leaves room for doubt. Patterns don't. I woke up at 5:42 a.m. Dark outside. Cold. Kitchen quiet, coffee, black, same mug, same chair, different life. The text from Brandon sat on my phone screen exactly where I'd left it. Small paperwork thing first. People hide intentions inside harmless language. Paperwork. Quick meeting. Small thing. Nothing serious. Human beings do that. We soften sharp objects. Makes us feel better. Not smarter. Just better. At 7:15 a.m., Walt called. You sound awake. I've been awake. You sleep? No. Bad. Yeah. You eating? Coffee. Coffee isn't food. Depends how committed you are. Shepherd. What? Don't get clever today. I'm always clever. No. Sometimes? No. I smiled. Needed that, badly. You told Rebecca? Walt asked. Already did. What'd she say? Protect assets. Smart. Don't confront. Smarter. Don't confuse love with denial. Silence. Walt understood immediately. Margaret used to say that. Yeah. You okay? No. Fair. Long pause. You want me there? No. You sure? Yeah. You're stubborn. I'm experienced. You're stubborn. Little bit. Call me after. Okay. 5 o'clock. Paperwork. Tomorrow. No, today. Funny how time changes. You spend years believing tomorrow is far away. Then, suddenly, tomorrow becomes today before you're ready. Around 9:30 that morning, I drove downtown. Not to confront, not yet. To prepare. Preparation matters. People think quiet revenge comes from emotion. It doesn't. Quiet revenge comes from patience. From preparation. From letting truth arrive without interruption. Rebecca Holloway already had things moving. Updated estate documents, asset protections, access controls, authority limitations. Nothing dramatic, nothing theatrical, professional, clean, legal, safe. You're protecting yourself, she said over the phone, not punishing them. Important distinction. Very important. At 11:50, sitting in my office at home, I opened every file again. Hospital, email chain, version history, debt pressure, business refinancing, property projections, timeline, everything. Looking, checking, testing assumptions, professional habit. People make mistakes when emotion outruns facts. No emotion facts. Then something hit me. Not huge, small, dangerous small. I opened Brandon's forwarded file again. Metadata, version history, original creator information. My eyes narrowed. There. One older note, buried, tiny, easy to miss. Not for me. Need transition discussion before Rebecca changes documents. Rebecca, not attorney building, not paperwork office. Rebecca Holloway. My Rebecca. My stomach dropped. Cold, slow, heavy, no. I picked up the phone immediately. Rebecca answered. Please tell me you found something useful. Did anyone contact you? Pause. What? Emily. No. Brandon. No. Anybody asking estate questions? Long silence. Then, yesterday. Everything stopped. What? Emily called. My grip tightened. What happened? General questions. What questions? Estate planning. Authority access. What exactly? Shepard. What? Take a breath. I'm breathing. Barely. What exactly? Rebecca sighed quietly. Emily asked hypothetical questions. Hypothetical? Yes. About? Health decline. My chest tightened. Power of attorney. Silence. Estate control. Silence. Property handling. Silence. What did you tell her? Nothing confidential? You sure? Shepard. Sorry. No client information. I know. General legal information. Did Brandon talk on? No. Emily? Yeah. I sat quietly, long quiet. Rebecca spoke softly. She sounded nervous. Not cold, not manipulative. Nervous, different thing, complicated thing. I need you to understand something, Rebecca said. I'm listening. Nervous people make bad choices. I know. Scared people justify bad choices. I know. Pressure changes judgment. I know. Silence. Then quietly. Still your daughter. Worst sentence possible. Because it was true. Around 2:15 p.m., Emily called. Again. Dad. Hey. You okay? Fine. You sure? Emily. What? What paperwork? Silence. Sharp silence. Paperwork. Brandon texted. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Professional instinct. Timing, response delay, breathing change, micro-pauses, human behavior, pressure leaking. Estate stuff, she said quietly. What estate stuff? Just planning. Planning what? Dad. What? We just want to help. There it was. Help. Again. People hide behind good intentions. Sometimes because intentions really started good. Sometimes because intentions changed slowly. Dad. Yeah. Please trust me. Long silence. Dangerous silence. I want to, I said. She didn't answer. Then quietly, I know. Call ended. I sat alone. Kitchen quiet. House quiet. Life loud. You know what nobody tells fathers children grow older, but somewhere inside your head, they stay small. Stay 8. Stay 12. Stay 16. Stay innocent longer than reality allows. At 4:11 p.m., I stood in my bedroom. Blue flannel, brown jacket, jeans, wallet, phone, folder, yellow folder, copies, evidence. Not revenge. Protection. I kept repeating that. Protection. Not revenge. Front door. Cold air. Avalon starting slowly because cold weather and old cars negotiate differently. Drive downtown. Traffic light near Kingston Pike. Red. Wait. Green. Drive. 446. Parking garage. Concrete. Cold. Quiet. I sat inside the Avalon. Engine off. Hands resting on steering wheel. Heartbeat steady. Professional mode. Old mode. Sharp, patient. 5 years earlier, Margaret would have sat beside me, hand on my arm. Don't go in angry. I know. Don't go in hurt. I know. Go in steady. I know. Funny thing. Sometimes grief keeps teaching after people leave. 4:58 p.m. phone buzzed. Emily. Dad, where are you? Parking. You okay? Yeah. You need help? No. We're upstairs. We. Me and Brandon. We. Not me, not us. We. Language matters. Always mattered. I stepped out. Cold air, folder underarm. Elevator doors opening slowly. 3rd floor, hallway, soft carpet. Professional offices, muted lighting, quiet. Too quiet. Suite 312. Door glass. Attorney office. Nameplate. Not Rebecca. Different attorney. Older man. Estate planning. Paperwork. Preparation. Everything exactly where my instincts said it would be. I saw Emily first. Standing. Hands folded. Nervous. Brandon beside her. Confident. Too confident. Dangerous confidence. Big mistake. Brandon smiled. Hey, Shepard. Not Dad. Shepard. Interesting. Very interesting. Emily stepped forward. Dad. I looked at her. Really looked. Fear. Real fear, not greed. Fear. Complicated things always hurt worse. Brandon opened the office door. Come on in. I smiled. Calm, steady, patient. 42 years of experience quietly sitting beside me, because Brandon Carter still believed he was leading this meeting. He wasn't. Not anymore. The attorney's office smelled like leather chairs, printer toner, and expensive caution. You know the kind of place. Quiet carpeting, soft lighting, a bowl of wrapped peppermints nobody ever actually wants. The receptionist smiled politely. Mr. Graham? That's me. Mr. Holloway will see you shortly. Not Rebecca Holloway. Different Holloway. No relation. 72 years old and retired 6 years, and somehow life still found ways to remind me not to assume things. Emily sat near the window, hands folded tightly, too tightly. Brandon stood, pacing slightly, phone in hand, checking it, putting it away, checking it again. Pressure. Pressure always leaks. Hey, Dad, Emily said quietly. Hey, kid. She looked tired, really tired. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back quickly. No makeup. Not because she didn't care, because she'd stopped having time. Or energy. Brandon stepped forward, smiling. Good to see you, Shepard. There it was again. Shepard, not Dad, not Mr. Graham. Shepard, distance disguised as friendliness. Professional instinct noticed everything. Always had. Always would. You too, I said. You find the place okay? Brandon asked. GPS still works. Small laugh. Nobody committed to it. Good. I wasn't in the mood. The office door opened. Attorney, mid-60s, gray suit, thin glasses, professional smile. Mr. Graham. We shook hands. Come on in. Conference room, long table, water bottles, folders, legal pads, 3 chairs already positioned. Interesting. Prepared. I sat. Emily beside me. Brandon across. Attorney near the head. Control position. Interesting again. We appreciate you coming, Brandon said. I nodded. Okay. Attorney folded his hands. Mr. Graham, your daughter and son-in-law expressed some concerns. Concerns. Careful language. Expected. Okay. They mentioned wanting to help simplify future planning. Simplify. There it was, again. Funny how certain words follow people around. Estate planning matters, the attorney continued. Healthcare considerations. Authority planning. Long-term protection. Protection, interesting. Emily finally spoke. Dad. Yeah. We just wanted to talk. Okay? You've been tired. I'm 68? Dad? What? We worry. I looked at her. Really looked. Fear. Real fear, not performance. Fear, complicated, harder, more dangerous. Brandon leaned forward. Nobody's saying anything is wrong. But planning matters? Planning for what? Silence. Attorney spoke carefully. Mr. Graham, power of attorney documentation can sometimes help families navigate future uncertainty. Future uncertainty. Clean words, professional words, words designed to sound harmless. Okay, I said quietly. Emily shifted beside me. Dad. What? Nobody's trying to take anything. Noted. Interesting wording. Take. Not control, not manage. Take. Professional instinct. Language matters. Always. I leaned back slowly. Question. Attorney nodded. Of course. Who suggested this meeting? Emily answered first. I did. Too quickly. Brandon looked toward her. Small movement. Tiny movement. Professional instinct. Pressure. Interesting. You? I asked. Yes. You called Rebecca Holloway. Emily froze. Brandon froze harder. Good. Very good. Fear changed shape immediately. Dad, you called Rebecca. Emily swallowed. Yes. Why? Planning? No. Dad. No. Quiet. Steady. Professional mode. Old mode. Sharp. Patient. Why? Emily stared down, hands shaking slightly. Brandon spoke. We just wanted options. No. Shepard. No. Long silence. Attorney watching carefully now. Good attorney. Quiet, observing, smart. I opened my folder. Yellow, ordinary, professional. 42 years of experience sitting quietly inside paper. Question, I said softly. Brandon leaned back. Careful now, good. Business doing okay? Silence. Emily turned immediately. Brandon. Fine. Good. Busy. Good. Why? No reason? Lie, tiny lie. Pressure leak. Equipment refinancing helping, I asked. Everything stopped. Brandon froze. Not dramatically, professionally, dangerously. Small facial tension, eyes shifting, breathing changed, professional instinct, always. What? Equipment refinancing. What about it? Just asking. Emily looked between us. Confused. Fear changing shape again. Interesting. Very interesting. Business hard lately? I asked. Shepard. Yeah. What's happening? Nothing. No anger, no yelling, Steady, dangerous steady. I got another question. Nobody answered. Good. How solved most of it? Emily looked up instantly. Brandon didn't. Interesting. Very interesting. Dad? No. Quiet, sharp? No. Emily looked pale now. Fear, real fear, not greed, fear. Brandon finally leaned forward. You went through my records? No. Then, you sent me emails. Silence. Complete silence. Attorney stopped moving entirely. Good attorney. Observing. Watching. Professional. Emily slowly turned. What? Brandon didn't speak. Dad. No. Dad, what emails? Professional instinct. Truth arriving. Quietly. Dangerously. I wasn't asleep, I said softly. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Not really. Hospital. Car ride. Conversation. Every piece entering the room without entering the room. Emily stared. Eyes widening slowly. No. Not greed. Not manipulation. Shock. Real shock. Hospital, I said quietly. Back seat. Emily stopped breathing, or looked like she did. You thought I was asleep. Silence. You weren't. No. Dad, no. Not angry, steady, much worse. I heard everything. Emily covered her mouth. Brandon looked cold suddenly, very cold. Dangerous confidence gone. Good, very good. You said paperwork. Tears immediately. Real fast. Dad, 30 days. Emily crying now, hard. Maybe less. Attorney quiet. Smart man. Professional. Brandon finally spoke. Shepard. No. Quiet, sharp. No. I can explain. Good. Silence. Explain. Long silence. Dangerous silence. Best kind. Professional instinct knew. Pressure. Need. Truth. Collision. Finally, Brandon said quietly, we were drowning. There it was. Not evil. Pressure. Debt. Fear. Human. Complicated. Hard. We weren't trying to hurt you, Emily whispered. Worst sentence yet. Because she believed it. I could hear it. Feel it. Real. And somehow that hurt worse. Much worse. We thought, I know. Dad, I know. We were scared. I know. We didn't know what to do. I know. Tears. Real tears. My daughter, 8 years old. Spelling test, state fair, cotton candy, front tooth missing, every version sitting beside this version, all at once. Stay with me here. This mattered. Because revenge feels simple. Real life isn't. Real life hurts because people you love convince themselves bad decisions are kindness. Attorney finally spoke quietly. I think perhaps everybody needs a moment. No, not yet. Not anymore. Because one thing still remained. One thing Brandon Carter didn't know. One thing I'd protected quietly, carefully, patiently. And in about 60 seconds, everything would finally land. Nobody moved. Not Emily, not Brandon, not the attorney. The room felt smaller somehow. Quiet does strange things when truth finally arrives. It expands, then crushes. Emily sat beside me crying quietly. Not dramatic. Not television crying. Real crying. The kind people do when something inside them breaks before they even understand exactly what broke. Brandon leaned back in his chair, hands folded, jaw tight. Still trying. Still calculating. 42 years working financial investigations taught me something important. People react differently when plans collapse. Some get honest. Some get angry. Some keep negotiating long after negotiation is over. Brandon Carter looked like a man still trying to negotiate. Bad mistake. Very bad mistake. I can explain everything, Brandon said carefully. No, I said quietly. Shepard. No. Calm, steady, dangerous steady. Not yet. The attorney sat motionless. Smart man. Professionals know when silence matters more than talking. Emily wiped her eyes. Dad. I looked at her. Really looked. Fear, regret, shame, love, all sitting together. Messy, human, hard. "Dad?" she whispered. "I'm sorry." Worst words sometimes. Not because they're meaningless, because sometimes they're real. And real apologies hurt worse. I opened the yellow folder slowly, not dramatic. No slamming papers, no speeches. Quiet, professional. Old instincts, old habits. Page 1, printed email. Brandon saw it immediately, color left his face. Good. Not because I wanted pain, because I wanted truth. "You sent that by mistake," I said quietly. Silence. "You sent several things by mistake." No answer. "Property projections?" No answer. "Debt planning?" No answer. "Transition documents?" No answer. Emily slowly turned toward Brandon. "What?" "Nothing." "Brandon." "Nothing." "Brandon?" Finally, I was trying to fix it. There it was, fix it. Human beings love that phrase, fix it. As if intention changes impact, as if pressure rewrites choices. $42,000, I said quietly. Emily froze. 86,000. Equipment refinancing, supplier debt, cash pressure, patterns, numbers, truth. "You looked through my business," Brandon said sharply. "No." "Then, you sent it." Silence. "I followed patterns." More silence. "Professional instinct, pressure rising, cracks widening." "I wasn't trying to steal from you," Brandon said. Interesting. Steal. Not help, not protect. Steal. Language matters. Always. "No," I asked quietly. "No." "House solves most of it." Silence. "Power of attorney." Silence. 30 days. Silence. "Maybe less." Emily closed her eyes. Tears again. "Dad," she whispered. "No. Not angry. Steady. Still worse." "You know what hurts?" I asked quietly. Nobody answered. "Not money." Silence. "Not planning?" Silence. "Not even this." I touched the paperwork, lightly. "You decided for me." Emily broke. Completely. Not performance. Real. Painful. "Dad, we were scared." "I know." "We didn't know what to do." "I know." Brandon said. Everything stopped. Small sentence. Massive consequence, Brandon said. "Not Emily decided. Not we planned," Brandon said. "Professional instinct, pattern recognition, pressure influence, marriage dynamics, fear, complicated, human, dangerous." Emily looked terrified suddenly. Not of me, of realization. Much worse. "I thought," she whispered. "I know." "I thought we were helping." "I know." "We thought." "I know." 3 words, quiet, steady, heavy, "I know." Brandon finally leaned forward. "I wasn't trying to hurt you." "No, I wasn't. No. You think I'm some villain?" "No." That surprised him. "Good, because real life isn't cartoons. Real life hurts more." "You're scared," I said. Silence. "Business pressure." Silence. "Debt pressure." Silence. "Failure pressure." Silence. "You kept thinking one more move fixes everything." Silence. "You thought this solved it." Silence. "You convinced yourself helping me helped everybody." Nothing. Because truth sounds different, quieter, harder to fight. The attorney finally shifted slightly. Professional patience reaching limits. Smart man. Very smart man. Then I pulled out the final document. Last page. Protected estate revision. Updated authority limitations. Asset control protections. Everything legal. Everything finished. Everything already done. Brandon looked down. Read again, then finally understood. "No," he said quietly. Quiet revenge doesn't yell. It waits. "You changed everything?" Brandon whispered. "No." Calm, professional. "I protected everything." Emily stared. "What?" I updated documents. Silence. Locked authority access. Silence. Updated estate protections. Silence. No transfers. Silence. No control. Silence. No shortcuts. Brandon leaned back slowly, color draining again. Pressure, cracks, truth, collision, but no. We needed, I know. Dad, I know. I ruined this. Emily. Not Brandon. Emily. Heartbreaking thing. People carrying guilt sometimes grab too much of it. No, I said quietly. You made choices. Tears, real again. Choices can change. Silence. Trust takes longer. Long silence. The attorney finally spoke. Quiet, professional. I think this meeting has reached its purpose. Nobody moved. Nobody argued. Nothing left. Funny thing, I thought winning would feel bigger, stronger, cleaner. It didn't. Because victory feels strange when somebody you love loses too. I stood slowly, knees complaining, age staying committed to consistency. Picked up folder, buttoned jacket. Emily stood quickly. Dad. I stopped. Didn't turn, not yet. I'm sorry. Long silence. Dangerous silence. Real silence. Then quietly, I know. Not forgiveness. Not yet. Just truth. I walked toward the door, hand touching the handle, then stopped, turned, looked at Brandon. Really looked. Fear, failure, shame, human, complicated. I don't hate you, I said quietly. His face changed immediately. Shock. Real shock. You made bad decisions. Silence. You let pressure make choices for you. Silence. You let fear decide character. Silence. Fix that. No speech, no explosion, no dramatic exit. Just truth, quiet truth. The kind that stays longer. I stepped outside. Cold Knoxville air, November wind, traffic moving, ordinary world continuing. Funny. Life keeps moving, even when yours changes. My phone buzzed. Walt. I answered. Well, he said immediately. Silence. Long silence. Finally, it's over. You okay? No. Fair. Long pause. You hungry? Walt asked. I laughed, actually laughed. First real laugh in days. Yeah, I said quietly. Little bit. Good. Burger place. Okay. And Shepherd, yeah. You did okay. I looked up. Gray Tennessee sky, cold air. Margaret somewhere only memory reaches. Emily crying upstairs behind me. Life, messy, human, still unfinished. And for the first time in 19 days, I finally felt tired. Real tired. Not old tired, heart tired. The kind that only time fixes. People think endings happen all at once. They don't. Real endings happen in pieces. Quiet pieces. Uncomfortable pieces. Slow pieces. 3 weeks after the attorney's office, Knoxville moved toward December. Cold mornings, gray skies, Christmas decorations appearing too early in stores. Life doing what life does, continuing, whether you're ready or not. I didn't hear from Brandon for 11 days. Not a text, not a call, not even one carefully written message trying to rebuild the story. Part of me expected one. Part of me didn't. Emily called twice. I didn't answer the first time. Not because I wanted punishment, because I needed space. Big difference. People confuse those two things all the time. The second call came on a Thursday evening around 6:20. I answered. Silence. Small breathing. Then, hi, Dad. Hi, kid. Long pause. I made chicken soup. Okay. I made too much. You always make too much. Tiny laugh. Small, fragile, real. Can I bring some over? I looked around my kitchen. Quiet house. Margaret's old recipe box sitting near the coffee machine. Life pieces. Memory pieces. Okay, I said quietly. 35 minutes later, Emily stood on my front porch carrying soup and looking like somebody who hadn't slept well in weeks. You look tired, I said. I am. Come in. She stepped inside, looked around. Same house, same pictures, same life, different people. We sat at the kitchen table. Soup between us. Steam rising. Silence. Dangerous silence. Then finally, we separated. Not dramatic, not loud, just truth. When? I asked. Last week? I nodded slowly. No surprise. Pressure reveals things. Pressure also breaks things. Brandon moved out? Silence. He's staying nearby. Farragut. You okay? No. Honest answer. Good. I thought. She started quietly, then stopped. I know. No. Tears immediately. No, you don't. Maybe not. So I waited. Because older age teaches patience. Sometimes people need room, not solutions. Room. I knew we had money problems, she whispered. I didn't know how bad. I listened. No interruption, no correction, no lecture. He kept saying we'd fix it. Silence. He kept saying we'd recover. Silence. He kept saying your house solved everything. There it was. Not manipulation exactly. Not cruelty. Pressure. Fear. Desperation. Layer after layer. Bad decisions stacked carefully enough to resemble logic. I should have stopped it. Maybe. I should have known. Maybe. I called Rebecca because Brandon said planning ahead made sense. Silence. Then things kept getting bigger. Silence. He kept saying we'd lose everything. Silence. And She broke again. Completely. Real. Painful. I convinced myself helping you meant helping everybody. There it was. The sentence. The truth. Not greed, fear wearing responsibility clothes. Dangerous combination. I know, I said quietly. I hate that you know. I know. That got a tiny laugh. Small, broken, real. We ate soup quietly, Margaret's old kitchen. Margaret's old table. Life pieces. Memory pieces. Healing pieces. You know what hurts? Emily asked quietly. What? I became somebody Mom would have hated. No. I leaned forward. Steady, careful. Your mother wouldn't hate you. Silence. She'd be disappointed. Small laugh. Tears again. But she wouldn't hate you. Silence. People make mistakes. I hurt you. Yeah. I betrayed you. Yeah? I almost took your choices. Long silence. Yeah? No softening. No pretending. Truth matters. Healing built on lies collapses eventually. Built on truth sometimes survives. Around Christmas, we started doing small things. Coffee, breakfast, short conversations, careful conversations. 1 hour, then home. No forcing, no pretending. Trust grows slowly, especially after damage. Walt said something smart around then. Rare event, memorable event. We sat eating burgers near Kingston Pike. You know why trust grows slow? He asked. Why? Because people plant it during good years. That's terrible. Accurate. Still terrible. You're healing? No. Yeah? No? Little bit? Maybe. Little bit. January arrived cold. Sharp cold. The kind Tennessee gives you when winter finally decides to take itself seriously. One Saturday morning, Emily came by unexpectedly. Blue coat, coffee in hand. Dad. Kid. I brought coffee. Trying to bribe me. Maybe. Smart. She smiled. Small, but real. Good sign. We sat outside. Cold air. Hydrangea bushes sleeping for winter. Margaret's bushes. Still there. Always there. I sold my SUV, Emily said quietly. Okay. We're downsizing. Okay. I got extra shifts. Okay. Dad. What? You're doing it again. What? One-word answers. Professional father move. Stop. No. Tiny laugh. Real laugh. Better. Dad. Yeah. I miss Mom. There it was. Not money, not house, not paperwork, loss, grief, fear, pressure, life. Human things, complicated things. I know, I said quietly. I think everything got worse after she died. Silence, and not because she was wrong, because she wasn't. Margaret held pieces together. Soft pieces. Invisible pieces. Families don't always notice those people. Until they disappear. February came. Then March. Life kept moving. Slow healing. Real healing. Not movie healing. No dramatic speeches. No instant forgiveness. Just showing up. Again and again and again. Brandon sent one letter. Handwritten, short. Apology. No excuses. Good sign. Didn't fix everything. Still mattered. I kept it. Didn't answer. Not yet. Maybe someday. Maybe not. Life stays unfinished. That's the truth nobody likes. One Saturday morning in April, Emily sat beside me at Cracker Barrel. Same window seat, same pancakes, same coffee. Linda walked over, smiling. Haven't seen both of you together in a while. Emily looked down. I smiled. We're working on it. Linda nodded, like she understood. Maybe she did. People carry quiet battles everywhere. You just don't always see them. Stay with me here. I need you to understand something. I kept the house, protected the estate, protected my choices, protected myself. But I lost something too. Certainty. The certainty that love automatically protects people from bad decisions. It doesn't. Love helps, character helps, truth helps. But fear changes people. Pressure changes people. Silence changes people. The trick is recognizing it before damage becomes identity. My daughter hurt me. Deeply. My daughter also came back. Slowly. Honestly. Imperfectly. Maybe that's adulthood. Not perfection, repair, slow repair. The hydrangeas Margaret planted still bloom every spring. Blue, steady, loyal. Life can be cruel. Life can also surprise you. Sometimes both happen in the same family. Sometimes both happen in the same year. And sometimes healing starts the moment people finally stop whispering. Life lesson. If you're listening to this right now, remember something. People you love can make terrible choices and still not be terrible people. Pressure changes judgment. Fear changes behavior. Pride convinces people they're doing the right thing even while they're walking in the wrong direction. Protect your boundaries. Protect your choices. Protect your dignity. But don't rush to turn pain into permanent hate. Some relationships cannot be repaired. Some can. The hard part is learning the difference. And if someone you love hurts you, don't ignore it. Don't excuse it. But don't let bitterness become your inheritance either. Healing doesn't arrive in one moment. It arrives through truth, accountability time, and people willing to keep showing up honestly. If this story meant something to you, join our community by hitting that like button and subscribing for more real, raw, and family-centered stories. Drop a comment below and tell us, have you ever been in a situation like this? We read every single one. And as always, thank you for being a part of this.